Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If somebody could send me a text just to let me know that I am live, so I believe it myself. Today, my subject matter for this talk is recognizing God, the divine qualities. On Wednesday, thank you, Vishali. On Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, August 12th, is Sri Krishna Janmashtami. It is the appearance day of Krishna, who appeared on earth some 5,000 years ago. And that is a very holy day, sacred day for those of us who are followers of Krishna, of Vishnu, known as Vaishnavas. In other parts of the world, it may not be today, it may be tomorrow, it may be a different day. It might be out a day, but Wednesday is Krishna's appearance day. So with this in mind, I thought I would talk about the divine qualities of the Godhead. So, the divine qualities of Krishna are 64 in number. And Krishna, or God, possesses all of these qualities in full measure, infinite measure. Now, I doubt that I'm going to have time to talk about 64 qualities today. You know me, I'm always optimistic. My notes are this long. Anyway, but we will cover as many as we can. I think I'm probably going to have to do a part 2 on this, or part 3, who knows, at some point in time. So the first 50 of these divine qualities possessed by God are also available to us, the jivas. God is Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva literally means God energy. We are not Vishnu Tattva. We are Jiva Tattva. We are souls. God is infinite. We are infinitesimal. So God possesses these qualities in full measure, especially in Krishna, whereas we can possess the first 50 qualities, but in a smaller measure, depending what we do with it. It's really important to point out that we are here to evolve, my friends. We are here to grow, to evolve in every way, shape, and form in our lives. And the topmost concern for all of us should be our spiritual evolution, beyond our material evolution, our emotional evolution, our psychological evolution. All may be important, but our spiritual evolution is number one. Everything comes from the top down. As above, so below. Everything comes from the Godhead. Everything stems from that, just like the rays coming down. So how does it work? Don't we come from the apes? Isn't that what Darwin is trying to tell us? That we descend from apes? Well, if you think that's true, no, it doesn't work like that. It goes from God to the demigods, the demigoddesses, to the angels, the archangels, the celestials, the divine beings. Then comes down to us, the humans. That's how it comes down. Then to the animals, the birds, down to the plants, etc. That's how it works. So it is incumbent upon us to evolve from our lower nature, our unevolved nature, our contaminated or influenced nature, that we have been influenced by the material energy, the modes of nature, and bring that up into the human side, which is more creative and is less destructive. The lower nature is destructive or it's self-involved, self-motivated. The human nature is more creative and positive, but still somewhat self-evolved, but not destructive. And up from that, we begin to approach the mode of goodness, or sattva guna, and the divine nature goes from there. That is our evolutionary path. Okay, so I'm talking about these qualities because they're Krishna's qualities. But the first 50 are ours as well. So how do we develop them? How do we develop ourselves and increase our evolution and grow in all these various ways? That's what we'll focus on. Number one, Krishna has beautiful features of the entire body. Well, we've seen a lot of beautiful people. There's lots of them. But he is more beautiful than any other person you've ever seen. When you see Krishna, it's completely stunning. He is stunningly beautiful. He is compelling. He is magnetic. He is charismatic. And he is the most beautiful being one has ever seen. That's the first quality. Now, not saying we can necessarily emulate that, but our beauty can also come from within. Some of us are more beautiful than others. That's fine. But what about, what is our real beauty? What do we truly radiate out around us? It's the beauty we have developed within ourselves. Our compassion, our love, our kindness, and the rest of these qualities we'll talk about. Number two, God is marked with all auspicious characteristics. So, with regard to Krishna, there was an old gopi, a cowherd woman, and this is what she said. She said this to Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's foster father, quote, "Your son possesses various wonderful fate lines on his palms. There are signs of lotus flowers and chakras on his palms, and on the soles of his feet, there are signs of the flag, the thunderbolt, the fish, the elephant goad, and a lotus flower. Please, how auspicious these signs are." That is a way you can read people and how advanced they are. Science of palmistry, science of bodily markings, which is called physiognomy, and in Sanskrit it is called samudraka. So these sciences are there, and they've been there since the beginning of time. So these various marks are indicative of the Godhead. Number three, extremely pleasing, beautiful to look at. So beautiful that when you see him, you can't stop looking. You can't take your eyes off him. I know you've met somebody like that on occasion, and you went, "Oh my goodness, look at her," or "Look at him." And you can't take their eyes off them. But not like Krishna, who is so compelling that we cannot divert our attention, nor do we want to divert our attention once we see him face to face. When Yudhishthira, the king, who was contemporary of Krishna's 5,000 years ago, was conducting the Rajasuya sacrifice, which is a huge undertaking to sort of proclaim his kingship. Not only was he king, he was more or less the world emperor at one point, or a Chakravarti is the Sanskrit term. Maharaj Chakravarti. So during the Rajasuya sacrifice, all important personalities from different parts of the universe had been invited to the sacrificial arena. All of them, upon beholding Krishna there, considered that the Creator had reached the summit of his craftsmanship in the creation of the body of Krishna. This is what had gone through their minds, or what they had discussed. And because of that, they gave him the topmost honor, the seat of honor for the Rajasuya sacrifice. Number 4, effulgent. Effulgence is light. It's the sheen. It's the light coming off the body of God. You have seen many paintings, both in, forgot to turn on my recorder, sorry. You have seen many paintings, both in Christian tradition, in Vedic tradition, various traditions, where saints, saintly persons were developed in such a way that they have this light around them, their aura of light, halo. So not only does Krishna have a halo above his head, he has this beautiful, compelling energy coming off his entire being. It is called the Brahma Jyoti energy. It is actually, when you enter the spiritual sky beyond the material universes, you will enter a energetic field of light, which is the Brahma Jyoti. And this is the light emanating from the body of God. So this is the light coming off God. So as it says, the luster of the many jewels worn upon Krishna's chest can defeat even the luster of the sun. So his jewels are brighter than the sun. But his personal effulgence is even brighter than the jewels that he wears. So Brahma Jyoti is known as the spiritual sky. Number 5, strong. Strength. We need to become strong, my friends. What kind of strength? Physical, perhaps, definitely. Mental, emotional, and strength of will. The stronger we become, the more we can handle whatever we have to deal with in life. Like we're seeing right now with this COVID virus pandemic. Many people, they're going into despondency or depression because they're isolated, they're alienated. Society doesn't function like it used to. I've talked to a few people about this. And we need to strengthen ourselves. And how do we do that? By meditation, by chanting, talking to God. I know there's lots of diversions like Netflix or whatever else you might be into. But we shouldn't neglect our sadhana or our spiritual practice, because this will sustain us through everything. This will give us the strength we need to deal with anything. So Krishna's mental, emotional strength and his will is always strong. Well, what about his physical strength? With the little finger of his left hand, he lifted the entire Govardhan hill as an umbrella over the deluge sent by Indra and protected all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. What kind of strength is that? Number 6, ever youthful. Well, how much time and energy is spent on advertising in our world and trying to sell you what's going to make you look youthful and sustain youth, the fountain of youth, right? Mostly these are makeup companies of one kind or another. You want to stay youthful, you want to look youthful, then think in a youthful manner. Don't think old. Don't get old in your mind. Yes, I know we're all getting old. I ought to know by now because I've hit 70. We're all getting old. But don't think like an old person. Don't act like one as far as your body allows you not to. Think young, think vital, keep yourself vital, keep yourself interested in things. Don't stop learning. We're never too old to learn one thing or another. So the body of God is always youthful. It's explained that Krishna's age at his, as old as he looks, is around 16, late teens. And Krishna, when he was on the planet, lived to be 125 and had children, many children, and grandchildren. And he lived to be 125, and he still looks 16. So I don't know that we can emulate that exactly, but that's what Krishna did. Okay, here's another point. In terms of ever youthful, his beauty surpasses even that of Cupid or Madana, the god of love. So the god of love is meant to be absolutely beautiful because he's the one that fires the flower arrows and has people become smitten and fall in love. But Madana's beauty, it can't even compare to the beauty of Krishna. Number 7, Krishna is a wonderful linguist. Well, I know many of you out there speak many languages. European people speak generally 4 or 5. Indian people that I met through the years, they speak a whole plethora of languages too. So Krishna could speak every language, every one there was, anywhere, and including classical Sanskrit. And Krishna also spoke to the animals. He was an animal whisperer. He could speak to the cows, the buffalo, the water buffalo, the parrots, and probably more. That's what they've mentioned here in the Nectar of Devotion, which is one of the books that was presented by Prabhupada, our founder. So, wonderful linguist. Number 8, truthful. How important is truth, my friends? If you're not living your truth, if you're not acting out of integrity, then it stands to reason that what you say may also then become not truthful. The more you misrepresent truth or present yourself in one way which isn't true, the more it breaks down the cohesion of your being. That's what untruth does. You say, well, I can tell lies, it's fine. You can, yeah, of course, you may well do, but over time, it will break you down. Truth is extremely powerful. For Krishna, always truthful, never not truthful. This is an important one for us. Because when you represent the truth, then it takes on a power of its own. And it's like a creative force that then, if everything you say is the truth and coming from the right place, then it means that what you say in terms of a wish or a blessing for someone else, I hope you get the job, I hope you have a good, successful pregnancy, whatever it might be. I hope you recover from your illness. It has the power in it to actually create that as a reality. Now, I'm not saying that's like it's an offhanded thing and anybody can do it. No, you can't do it until you get to the stage where your truth has developed such a momentum, it has such a power and an energy of its own accord that it can create truth, that your words can come to pass. That's the concept. Very important to live your truth and speak your truth. Person's word is his bond. Number 9, talks pleasingly. In what? In sound, in speech, and in meaning. Some people, the way they speak and the sound of their voice and how they use it has a very powerful quality. It can mesmerize others, or it can give them peace. It can create peace in their minds. It can be soothing, just like a mother with her baby. Her soft words with her baby. Maybe she sings a lullaby for the baby, like this. So sound, speech, how you use your words. If you're going to say something that you think might be critical or hurtful, but you feel it needs to be said, don't just blurt it out. Think about it. When I talk to my clients, I talk to people all day long, every day, around the world. And when I want to say something and I know it might be, might challenge them a bit, I'll stop myself and I'll say, when I don't know exactly how to say it, I'll say, how shall I put this? And then I'll come up with the right way to approach it, to present it. It's very important that you're kind like that and thoughtful when it comes to how you speak to people. And then the meaning. What meaning does it have? If the meaning is reflective of truth, then it will have a powerful effect on the other person. Souls are touched by souls that speak to souls. You want to affect people? That's how you do it. Go right to the soul through the heart. That's how you do it. That's what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada cut through layers of ignorance, layers of density. And, he had a thick accent. People who first heard Prabhupada couldn't understand him. Westerners, where I come from, North America, couldn't understand him. You'd have to listen to him a few times before you could understand. Yeah. And look at the shift he caused in the minds of, hundreds to begin with, and now millions. Meaning. When Krishna danced on the heads of Kaliya serpent, multi-headed serpent, which is where the story of Hercules and the Hydra comes from, by the way, in case you're wondering. Krishna, in Vrindavan, when he was here, Kaliya serpent went into a lake that was part of the Yamuna River, and he contaminated it with his poison. It was a poisonous serpent, multi-headed. And Krishna, the cows, I should say, came down to the river, to the bank, to drink the water, as they would normally, and they all died of poison. I think some of the cowherd boys died of poison too. I can't remember now, but the cows did. So Krishna immediately jumped up and started to dance on his head, on the heads of the serpent, until he defeated him. And the serpent knew he was defeated. And then his original intention was to kill him off. But then the serpent's wives, he had many wives, the Nagas, the Nagapatnis, they're called, the wives of the serpent, prayed to Krishna and interceded on Kaliya's behalf and said, please don't kill her husband. Yes, he's a bad guy. Yes, he's a serpent. Yes, he's poisonous. Please don't kill him. He's our husband. Please have mercy. And Krishna did. He had mercy on him. And and especially because of the prayers of his wives, he actually apologized for dancing on his heads, and he told them, just go away from here, don't come back here anymore, and contaminate the Yamuna River, which he did. So, number 10, fluent. Krishna is fluent in speech. And this is the quote: his speech is like nectar being poured into the ears of the listeners. Can you imagine? What does it feel like to have nectar poured into your ears by means of words? That's God. Is he angry and he yells and he shouts and he stomps up and down and he throws things across the room? No. Doesn't do that. That's not him. And if you got a God like that, you better think twice. Number 11, highly learned. Krishna was conversant in many areas of knowledge, and he also acts on moral and ethical principles. It's not enough to be a scholar, to be highly educated, well-read, well-educated of your own accord. It's not enough. You also have to develop a sense of morality and ethics. That must go hand in hand with it. Do they teach us this in universities? No, they don't. They may teach the subject of ethics and religion in one way or another, but they don't necessarily advocate for that, do they? It's very important. A learned person is also a gentleman or a gentlewoman and has a sense of decorum and protocol and etiquette in how they behave and how they treat others. Very important. Krishna is not only that, he's the source of all knowledge. Sarvasya cham ridi sani vishto matasmrtir jnanam aponam cha vedaischa sarvaram eva vedyo vedanta krid veda vid eva chaham. That's the verse. He is the source of the Vedas. He's the knower of the Vedas. And the Vedas are universal knowledge. Oldest books on the planet. When I talk to my clients, I tell them that Vedic astrology comes from the Vedas, which date back to 6000 BCE. Do they? No. Well, then why would I say that and talk about truthfulness? Because that's as far as the archaeologists have found remnants of the civilization. So in deference to the scientists and archaeologists, I say 6000 BCE. In reality, it's at the beginning of creation. Creation is cyclical. Creation has a beginning, it remains for a while, and it comes to a dissolution. All creation is like that. It's not like the linear version that Christianity has. You're born, you live for a time, you die, that's it. Or maybe you go burn in hell or go to heaven, but that's it, you're done. No, it's all cyclical. It's just like the seasons. So spring is creation, summer is full blossom of everything we're doing. Fall is when everything begins to dwindle, die off, reduce, and then finished goes into winter, which is what? Dormancy. And the creation of the material world also gets absorbed back into the body of Vishnu, the creator, into a state of dormancy. And then the next creation cycle begins again when it's time. So it says that Krishna, Saraswati is the goddess of learning. And if you can gain the grace and the blessing of Saraswati, you can become a very highly learned person. Many people have worshipped Saraswati, the goddess of learning. There's many stories about her in the Vedas, and people have become great scholars, famous. But it says that Krishna was so merciful that he even gave Saraswati the opportunity to serve him as one of his classmates when he went to the Gurukula, or to elementary school, high school, and at the ashram of Sandipani Muni. So one of the classmates was Saraswati herself. So that's an interesting statement. Okay. Now, number 12. Highly intelligent. For those of you who have joined us late, we are looking at recognizing God, the divine qualities. There are 64 qualities that Krishna embodies. We're only on number 12. We're not going to make it to all of them today. And the first 50 are qualities that we too can embody or begin to develop. So, number 12 is highly intelligent. This means what? Just that you know a bunch of stuff, that, you're good at trivia, and you can do a quiz, and you can answer a bunch of questions with the quiz shows on TV. Yeah, it's entertaining, perhaps. No, that's not intelligence. Intelligence is discretion. It's good judgment. It's making the right judgment, the right choice about things. Knowing what to do in various circumstances. That's high intelligence. It's discrimination. Now, when I use the word discrimination, this day and age, people go, oh, racial discrimination. It's nothing to do with racial discrimination. Discrimination, again, means to discriminate between what is proper action and what is improper action. Like discretion. How intelligent was Krishna? He retained everything he was taught in school, having heard it once. So he either had photographic or audiographic memory. I'll tell you, it's something I've always wanted. I don't have it. Didn't get it this lifetime. I know some of you do. I know you do. I had a lot of musician friends when I was younger because I was a musician, and sometimes they would have perfect pitch. So you can just play a note on the piano or guitar or whatever, and that person would say, "Oh, that note is A, or that's a B flat," and they were right. You could tune your instrument to the guy singing. Okay. Number 13. Genius. Genius. Genius sets people apart from everybody else. Most everybody. Krishna, God, is a genius. No kidding. Look at the creation. What do you think? You like it? You enjoy it? You love going to the beach? You like a sunset? You like a good sunset? Have you ever pulled one off? Have you done one? I don't think so. That's a little example of genius. Genius also means the ability to look at things in ways that no one else can. That's genius. I've said this a few times in the past. I don't mean to find fault with anybody as I say this. Most people have never had an original thought in their life. It's true. Why do I say that? Because we are programmed, we are conditioned since childhood. Since we're born, we're conditioned by family, we're conditioned by culture, we're conditioned by education, we're conditioned by our friends, and popular culture, trying to fit in. You know what kids have to go through, trying to fit in, especially in their teenage years. We are conditioned by media. Boy, aren't we ever? Oh my goodness. Way too much. So we are conditioned by so many different things and so many different opinions. So we grow up doing what we were told to do because everybody, this is what you're supposed to do. And no, it's not that I'm not saying anything's wrong with what you're doing, but really what you need to do is you need to question absolutely everything you were taught since you were a child. Like, for example, I was taught to wash my face and brush my teeth and keep myself clean. Wonderful. I'm keeping it. It's good. It's a good one. I was taught to treat people with kindness and be polite. There's another good one. But everything, every program that was put into your mind, you need to question these beliefs that are making up your overall belief system. Well, this thing used to be true for me, but it's not true for me anymore. I don't believe that anymore. Okay, good. Let's move that out. We don't need that anymore. And there's other things other people are saying, I don't adhere to that. Good. Move that out. Original thought is when you come up with something of your own accord that hasn't been programmed into your brain. That's an original thought. And I tell you, most people haven't had one. In order to have an original thought like that, you either have to be a genius or you have to be spiritually awake. Okay. Number 14, artistic. That is Krishna, let me tell you. How? Well, he's got really good taste. Excellent taste. You know, ladies, I tell some of my female clients, I want to sort of tease them and go, I'm looking at the chart and go, oh, you've got really good taste. That means you can go into a ladies' clothing store and in the first 5 minutes, you can pick out the 3 best outfits in the store. And never mind all the rest of it. And of course, those are the 3 most expensive outfits in the store. And they go, yeah, I can do that. Of course you can. That's good taste. Creative in a variety of ways, this is Krishna. Dresses enchantingly. Sometimes you see people that, you know, most people, they dress nicely and they you know, attractive, clean, well presented. But some people you look at, oh my God, look at this person. It's stunning the way this person presents themselves. So this is dresses enchantingly. That's Krishna. I know when we see Krishna, Krishna's always, here he is here. There he is here. He has his yellow cloth, his yellow dhoti on. That's his favorite. That's Radha with him there. And that's typically what Krishna has. He dresses, he dresses up in a wide variety of ways that he likes to dress, just like we like to wear different things at different times. So we like to do it because God likes to do it. It's above, so below. Composes poetry. Krishna composes poetry. He makes beautiful flower garlands for the gopis, cowherd maidens, for his friends, the cowherd boys, for the cows, the calves, for whomever. He plays the flute. No sound in the world or beyond this world like Krishna's flute. There are some mystics, some sadhus, that their whole meditation is just trying to hear Krishna's flute. Wonderful idea. Highly recommend it. Have I heard it yet? Frankly, no. I'd love to. I can't wait. He sings and he dances beautifully. All that. So how many of those things do you do? And do you have a balance in your life? Or do you just say, oh, you know, I get up early in the morning and then I have to go to work. I work all day and I work hard. God bless you. And then I come home and then I have to have a chat with my wife and family, naturally. And I just don't have any time to do those things. What? All work, no play. It says in the Bhagavad Gita that we need to live a balanced life. And our life must be lived in balance and not to an extreme. So if you have creative abilities, you should find an outlet for those creative abilities. And this will help, you know, when people get burned out, overworked, despondent, frustrated, we need a release from that. That's why we go on holiday. But holidays in this part of the world, yeah, you go for, you get a week in a year, 2 weeks in a year. I think in Germany and France, don't they take 2 months, something like that? Oh, there's an idea. Devotees, those of us who are devotees of Krishna, where I've been a devotee of Krishna for almost 50 years, you know, we have no problem taking holidays. We don't call them holidays. We go on spiritual retreat, or we go on Tirtha Yatra. We visit holy places, which is also extremely renewing and inspiring. So that's important too. Visiting holy places is just so enlivening. The ones in India is what I'm talking about, but even going to the various temples can be very enlivening. All right, number 15, extremely clever. Skilled, talented, original. Now, I talked a moment ago about original thought, having an original thought, while also being original in nature, being your own person. As Oscar Wilde said, you may as well become yourself. Everyone else is taken. Great advice. You're not here to compare yourself to other people, my friends, because it's not feasible. It's apples and oranges. Oh, but he does this and he can do that and he does it. I can't do it. No, you can't. If you can't, you can't. What do you do? What do you have that other people don't have? That's what you have, okay? That's your wealth. That's your treasure. That's what you must develop. Just become the best you. You don't need to be like anybody else because you won't be able to be, simply. Okay, original. Manifests unique solutions to problems. That's cleverness. Okay. Number 16, expert. Knows how to quickly accomplish any difficult task. That's expert. Well, if I may say this, of course, I'm not talking about me, so I can. My wife is like that. I mean, this woman can do things so quickly and figure out the best way to do them. And while you're sitting there reading the instructions, she's already got it done and she's on to the next thing. Real clever, really expert. That's a great quality. Number 17, grateful. Friends, so important. Being grateful. First, let's look at Krishna. When Krishna was a child and the Valwala, I've talked about this before, came this woman with the basket full of fruits, Valwala, to his village and in front of his house to sell her fruits or to trade, to barter for grain. Krishna saw his parents trade for grain on several occasions. He's just a little child, like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years of age. So he puts grains in his hand, his little hand, And he comes out with the grains, and the grains, of course, falling out of his hand as he walks. And he comes up to the lady, and he opens his hand. There's 5 or 6 grains that remain, and he's training for fruits. The lady gets a big smile on her face and sees how beautiful he is, so attractive. So she tells him to make a basket with his arms and begins to load up his arms with as many fruits as his little arms can carry, right? And then he's happy, and he turns around and he walks away. And she smiles, she looks down at her basket, and it's filled with jewels. Her fruits have become priceless, invaluable jewels. That's how he showed his gratitude. Now, you and I may not be able to show our gratitude in quite the same way. Here's another one Krishna did. This is beautiful. This is for all of us. When Krishna, who was living in Dwarka in his palace with his wife, as he became later on in that same lifetime, he became a king of his own kingdom in Dwarka in West India, in Gujarat, what is now Gujarat. And he was born into a Kshatriya family, or a princely family by nature, but was put into a foster family of cowherds to protect him in his childhood. Anyway, so as an adult, he was in his kingdom. His wife, one of his wives, he had more than one, was Rukmini. And Krishna went away on business to do this, that, or the other thing. And Rukmini was going, "Oh, Krishna. Oh, Govinda. Oh, Krishna," like this. She was pining for him. She was missing him so much. She was yearning for him. Well, of course, he heard her. We can all hear our loved one from far away. Some of us can. We know that we need to talk to them. Sometimes that happens, but Krishna heard her. And Krishna said, this put him in her debt. When you call on Krishna, just like, "Oh Krishna, oh Govinda," you can chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the great mantra. Fine, wonderful. But just calling on Krishna and saying his name, he said this makes him a debtor. And he owes you. And he needs to pay you back because he's so grateful that you called on him. That's what he says. It's a simple thing to do. And can you imagine, maybe that's all it takes. That when we're at the point of death, we just keep calling on Krishna, "Oh Krishna, oh Govinda." And he'll come for us because we've been doing it all our lives. So, gratitude. Gratitude is such a powerful thing, my friends. We must be grateful for everything, from any person, from anybody who does anything for us. Somebody who opens the door for you. Somebody who pulls the car over on a 1-lane road so you can pass. Everything. We must be grateful. Because gratitude increases one's abundance in life. And what goes around comes around. And it's according to Christian mysticism, I've told you this before. In Christian mysticism, they have what they call the ascension attitudes. Love, praise, gratitude. Simple. We must develop our loving being, our loving self. And with that comes compassion. Praise, genuinely praise others, not rip them apart. If we give criticism is necessary in order to improve anything. But criticism must be constructive in nature and not destructive. I've told you this. So we praise people, not artificially, not falsely, genuinely, something that we can praise. Everybody has something about them that we can praise or that we can encourage. Gratitude. Look how our lives were in January. And so many things. We could go here, we can go there, we can be in public places, we can get on an airplane and go to any country in the world we want. And now, no. We took all this for granted. Oh, just how it is. And now, how grateful would you be if you could do some of those things we cannot do now? See? Number 18. Firmly determined. For Krishna, that means fulfilling his promises. Krishna says, whatever he says, he does. Very important. You know, having had my own business now for 30 plus years, or even before that, I started working when I was 16. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. When you say you're going to be at a certain place at a certain time, we have an appointment, it is incumbent upon us to be there because we said we were going to be there. That's fulfilling promises. Some people are not very conscientious about being on time, and they're late. And sorry. It's okay. We can be late on occasion. There can be a variety of reasons for that. But if you are chronically late, my friends, you're always late. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. You got a problem, okay? And you think, yeah, well, I just can't quite get it together, or, I have to do this, I have to do that. No. You said you'd be there at that time. So it is your duty to be there at the time you say. What does it mean to the other person? It means this is the statement you're making without saying it out loud. Your time has no meaning to me. Your time has no value. If I keep you waiting, that doesn't matter. The only important person here is me. That's what you're saying without using the words. It's not considerate. That's one example of fulfilling promises, but that's a common one, So, how did Krishna do it? When Draupadi was being disrobed in the assembly during the gambling match between Yudhishthira and Duryodhana, and the men wanted to bring her in and shame her in a public gathering. And she surrendered finally to Krishna. She stopped holding on to her sari, which Dushasan was pulling off of her and spinning her around as he pulled. Finally, she just said, Krishna, Govinda. She surrendered. And Krishna then, from an invisible place, began to continue lengths of the sari. So no matter how much they pulled the sari, she was never not exposed. So that's what he did. When she called him, that's how he responded. He protected Arjuna from numerous enemies. And he also won the Parijata flower. He went to the heavenly realms, Indra's realm, Indra's abode, chief of the gods. And he took the Parijata flower down to his wife, Satyabhama, who wanted the Parijata flower. So he promised her he would get it, and he went and he got it, and he had to overcome Indra, he had to fight Indra to get it. Okay. And he also protected the Vrajavasis, the residents of Vrindavan, by lifting Govardhan Hill. He said, don't worry, this deluge is coming in, and Indra sent to some Vartika cloud, the cloud of the final devastation that brings the rain that kills everybody on Earth or on all the universes. Govardhan Hill. Number 19. Oh, doing pretty good here. 19, huh? Out of 50. Never mind 64. We're just moving along. 19. Expert judge of time and circumstances. Wow. Excuse me. How important is that, my friends? When is the right time to do the right thing? We say, in our world, we say timing is everything. Oh, is it? Well, then there's a right time and a wrong time to do things. We don't plant in the fall. We don't typically go out for a picnic in the park in the pouring rain. In Rajadharma, Rajaniti, the signs of kingship or leadership, it says when and when not to approach the king. The king, the boss, the leader, the man in charge, maybe it's your father, whomever. When not to approach him. When he's in a bad mood, simply put. When he's not having a good day, when things didn't go well, or somebody really made him angry, that's not when you approach. You wait to get him in a good mood, in a receptive frame of mind. So what is the best way? Well, one of the best ways, I shall say, for judging time and circumstance. It's Vedic astrology. Vedic astrology is the science of timing. That's what it is. When to do the right thing. It's called Muhurta astrology. Muhurta means moment. When is the best moment to undertake marriage, start a business, conceive a child? I mean, it gets to every segment of life. I won't go down the list. And once you understand planetary periods, the cycles that you're going through in life, and when is the favorable time to do something you wish to do, and when is not a favorable time. So God is an expert judge of time and circumstance. You can become this of your own accord as well. Number 20. Recognizes and speaks on the authority of the Vedic scriptures. Okay. My friends, we must accept authority. We must accept somebody or some source as authoritative. When you go to study a subject or a discipline, whether it be technology or medicine or architecture or engineering, you name it, we have to accept a source that is a proper source that can teach us this subject matter. We have to put our faith in something. Otherwise, if we can't accept an authority, then where are we? So by the same token, we accept the Vedas as being the authority on morality and ethics, dharma meaning virtue, religion, but not religion in the small sense of the term, not a relationship with dogma per se, but a relationship with virtue and right action. For example, they give this example that if you look up at the sky and you see the sun as a tiny little ball of light. But we know from scientific authority that the sun is not a tiny little ball of light. It's huge. And it's not a ball of light. It's a ball of fire. And they give you the dimensions. And now we learn the true nature of the sun. You see. So we must accept authority. if you want to develop yourself spiritually, you must accept the highest spiritual authority, and that is God consciousness, which comes from the Vedas. Why? Because the Vedas are the oldest books. They deal with the science of karma, reincarnation, yoga practice, mantra, all of it. Actually, the Vedas deal with every subject under the sun, by the way. They do. It's in there. So that's why we accept the Vedic scriptures. Vedaishcha sarvar aham eva vedyo. Krishna says, by all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedas. I wrote them, and the knower of Vedanta. Vedanta krid veda vedeva chaham. That's what he says. So that's why we accept the Vedas as authority. From the Vedas, we also get Vedic astrology, Ayurvedic medicine, Vastu science, the science of architecture. So now, I think I'll do one more. I say it's 4:31 p.m. I think I'll do one more for you, which is number 21 on the list of the divine qualities that we need to try to develop, and then we'll conclude. Number 1 is purity. Pure. Let's look at that from 2 points of view. Purity means purity of intention. If you're trying to do something, what is your intent? You're saying to somebody, I want to do this, I want to do that. You want to judge people and circumstances very quickly and accurately. When somebody says, I want this, or I want to do this, I want you to come with me and we're going to do this together. What's the intent behind it? What is this person's intention? Most important thing. What does he really want? Because if you go and do something and you think this person's intention is the same as yours, and yours is a good intention, but his is not, then what? It's either A, not going to work out, or it's going to begin to work out, then it's going to blow up in your face, or he and you are going to have a falling out. Because this was your intention, you weren't, and then you're going to say to him, yeah, but I was under the impression that, well, you led me to believe that. And he's going to sit there and go, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Yeah, but he did. Intent, extremely important. If we're going to do something with somebody, like in a partnership, is our intent the same? Marriage is a partnership. Do we have the same intent? Is that why we're married? Or our intents are completely different? The other thing about purity is without lust. No lust. There's love, there's lust. They're different. I want to just bring in a small piece that from a book that I wrote called Sun Man, Moon Woman, 7 Steps to Harmonious Relationships. It is not yet published. And I've juxtaposed purity or love on the one hand and lust on the other. People say, well, lust, that sounds good to me. Yeah, I really enjoy lust. Yeah, but lust is a result of your conditional lower nature. Your contaminated nature, our contaminated nature. And love is the pure nature. So let's juxtapose it. Love or purity serves the heart. Lust serves the genital. Love or purity replenishes the spirit. Lust drains the spirit. Love or purity gives. Lust takes or drains. Love fills the heart. Lust empties the heart. Love expands the self. Lust diminishes the self. Love provides lasting benefit, and lust provides temporary release. Love produces happiness. Lust produces pleasure, at best. Love delivers a feeling of loving intimacy, and lust delivers shame, embarrassment, or regret. Love is an act of surrender. Lust is an act of conquest. Yeah. So, my friends, if we want to become godlike, godly, which is what we're supposed to be, this is the process, this is the path of our evolution, then we have to become loving beings. We have to raise ourselves up. We have to use Krishna, not in every one of these traits. We can't emulate every one of them, obviously, but the vast majority of them we can and we should. So I hope this has been of value to you. We only did 21 out of the initial 50, but to speak is 64. And maybe I'll do it in my next talk. My next talk is actually going to be September 13th. I'm on the schedule. Don't forget that Wednesday is Sri Krishna Janmashtami, very holy day, Krishna's appearance day. And Thursday is Prabhupada's appearance day. So Wednesday and Thursday are highly auspicious days in the Vaishnava calendar. And are there any questions? Or you want to text me any questions? Okay, I'll probably just end it there. I thank you for your kind attention, as always. Hare Krishna.